Well, hello everyone. How are you today? It is the beginning of October. I am Tracy and I am broadcasting from Golden Dog headquarters in Barrington. Oh, hold on a second. I'm losing something over here. Too much technology stuff going on. And I'm here with our October featured expert, April Begosh from Healthy Pets NH. How are you, April?
I'm good. A little chilly, but I'm good.
Yes, it is chilly today. I know the weather's been beautiful, but
I know.
in the nighttime we get 40 to 50 degrees, and then midday we get in the 60s. So,
Right.
I
And then
mean, I
like
can't
80
complain.
for tomorrow and the next day. So
Yeah, I mean,
welcome to New
certainly we
England.
need rain, but I'll take this weather for as long as we can get it. So,
I don't blame you. Absolutely.
so thanks for going live with me today. I appreciate it. This is the time of month where we go live in our Facebook page so that we can give you some additional information on what is coming up for the month, as far as our expert, our events, our theme. And so, like I said, this month we're going live with April. April is normally with us in April, but this
Right.
month or this year she's with us in October, which I actually love, April, because I think the theme that we've got for this month and just how
Yeah.
it plays out with fall and all the different things that we've planned, I really like.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
glad we could have you on the schedule for this year. So let's jump into it. I know people may remember you were connected with Canine Strong, and originally you were Healthy Pets and H, Canine Strong, Healthy Pets and H. So just if anybody has any questions on who you are and what you do and what your expertise is, this is a
Right.
great chance for us to remind them. So if
Right.
you can tell us a little bit about your expertise and what you do at Healthy Pets and H, that'd be great.
Perfect. I will. Yeah, and I'm like having an identity crisis, but I'm back. I'm Healthy Pets New Hampshire, and I think I'm pretty stable. So, Healthy Pets New Hampshire started back in 2009, and the reason that I had created it was because I'd been trained by Pet Tech to be a CPR and first aid for pets instructor. I had done that because I wanted to have a home-based doggy daycare. And I thought, well, if I'm going to get into this world of dog professionals, like why would somebody seek me out over somebody else? And so that's why I got trained in the CPR and first aid for pets. But prior to that, and still for almost 30 years now, I am a licensed massage therapist for the state of New Hampshire for humans. And almost always when you have a discipline with one species, there's always the question of, oh, well, does this translate to my dog or my cat or my horses or whatever it might be? And so, having gotten enough of that and then realizing that as a human massage therapist, it's really hard on your body. And I didn't know it was 2009 when I both made the switch to like having CPR and first aid for pets as under my belt, and I could become an instructor, but also thinking there's probably something to this, like, hey, let's massage animals, because in a lot of ways they're easier physically for me to work on than it is for me to work with humans. And why not, right? Because people were asking and they were like, hey, can you work on my dog? So I went through a independent study. So there are schools that you can go to for massage therapy for animals, but I went through an independent study program because they already had all the education and a lot of experience. And so I did an independent study, became a small animal practitioner, including, mostly dogs, have done some cats. Also with a club member of ours, Michelle Lowry, shout out to her. I went through an animal Reiki course with her. So I had already had level 2 Reiki through humans. And then I did my animal Reiki training with her, which was amazing. And she is amazing. And so I started offering those things. And then and this is sort of technical, but because the state of New Hampshire has just some stuff out there, rules and regulations about, who can work with animals, I was sort of concerned that being able to do work with small animals was going to be at risk if I didn't have a certain amount of background or training. So I became a certified canine fitness trainer, because that had way more of the anatomy and the physiology and the kinesiology and all the things that I thought would be the technical aspects that the state might be looking for if they ever wanted to say, hey, who can work with small animal massage or small animal for massage? So with all of those things coming together, it was like, what am I? Like, if you had to say, what am I? What I love about you and what I love about this theme this month, and the fact that it is National Pet Wellness Month. So that is sort of where the theme came from for us. And for what you're doing, which is a nice tie-in to like the teaser of what you're doing and coming up for 2026.
Right.
But like, as you can see, that you're calling me a canine wellness educator. And
Don't you like that? I think that's perfect
that.
for you.
I have a name. But I like that because, it's all encompassing. And I do so much in the way of like, what can I offer you to work with for your animals? And I don't want to be just called a canine fitness trainer, because sometimes that gets misinterpreted. And yes, I'm a canine massage therapist, and yes, I can do Reiki and whatnot. But in the end, it all comes down to the big picture, which is the wellness. And so it just so perfectly fell in line. I love that you call me a wellness educator, because I do. I teach, right? I teach CPR and first aid for pets, but everything that I do for services, I also teach people to be able to do themselves with their animals, because I think that's very empowering. And if you want to talk about wellness, it has to start at home, and it has to start with you. And if you don't have the knowledge or the confidence or the skills, there's ways to pick them up, because it isn't rocket science. And the best way that you can make a connection with your animal or even your fellow humans is through recognizing and fostering wellness. And so that's kind of where we're at. That's where I'm at. I don't, I can call myself multiple disciplines, but I like the way you sum that up. And yes, it's all about wellness. And that's what it comes down to for me. And, wellness, I think sometimes that in itself, that word can be misinterpreted or not but like broadly interpreted, in the sense that, like, I went and looked it up this morning, it was referring, because when they were talking about October being National Pet Wellness Month, they were referring to how it was promoting making sure that you're always doing your veterinary care and you're doing your wellness checks. And it was all about sort of more the medical side of wellness, which is useful and we need it. And I totally support that. But that's not really necessarily the place that I'm coming from. It encompasses that, as you'll see in a lot of the posts that I do and the education that I provide. But wellness for us this month is going to be more about the spiritual and the emotional wellness, the bonding, the connecting, the providing environments and resources and just overall energies that are going to support both us, but our animals, in connecting to the point where we're all allowed to be who we are and what we are, and to make the choices that fill our cups, right? And so that's kind of what we're going to focus on. And that's why the theme, as you'll kind of address later on for the walk, is about choices. So
yeah, and I love that this month is a segue into 2026 and this whole
yes.
conversation that we're having about wellness. I know that you and I have sat down to talk about this in more detail. I've talked with Dr. Lisa Boyer, who's also a partner. I have other partner conversations coming up. I've talked with other wellness educators, and I'm really excited about this direction. So I really kind of feel October is a little bit of a bridge into that. So it's exciting to kind of test and roll out some of this new thinking with the focus on canines and on humans.
Yes.
So people will learn more about that through this month and as we round out the fourth quarter. But yeah, I love the theme that you came up with for this month. So let's talk a little bit about that. What exactly does dog's choice, dog's voice mean?
It's funny, whenever I go walking with my dog, I had dogs before, but and another one of our expert partners, Monica, and I have this conversation all the time because when I'm walking with them, like I'm in the woods and my brain just goes free and it just starts thinking about all sorts of stuff. And when I was watching my dogs, I didn't have an agenda for the walk, right? Like my walks were never a destination. Thankfully, I didn't have to put it into a time. We didn't walk on a street. Like we literally were out behind me, which is like 200 plus acres, and it's logged. So there's logging paths that get down to a river, the whole thing. I've got a lot of special stuff back there. So I watched my dogs, and because the two that I had, not so much the one now, and that's okay because I can still work with her, but the two that I had previous were off-leash dogs. They were off-leash walkers, which provided me a lot of observation time to just sort of see what would a dog choose to do on a walk if we didn't have them attached to a leash, or if we did have them attached to a leash, but we kind of, let go of the leash in the sense that we're not directing where that leash goes. We're actually just following behind the leash. And it was amazing the things that I saw. It was amazing. And when I say that, let me say that twice. It was amazing the things that I observed, but it was amazing the things that I saw that I wouldn't have seen if it wasn't for the fact that I was seeing it through my dog's eyes. And that's amazing. Like that is, I can't begin to describe how, empowering it is, but also just how connecting and bonding it is when I stopped to look at where they were choosing to go, what they were choosing to interact with. And just all of the lessons about like being present, because I was just being with them and letting them show me where to go and what was going to happen. And it was a whole different walk. And it was very healing for me. which was all about the wellness. And it kind of ties into like our sort of whole introduction in that, you know, you talk about, you like that this is a bridge because you're kind of thinking more along the lines of working with human wellness. We can do that with dogs because in the end, don't we heal each other? Like, don't we make each other well?
Yep.
And so that's when I got thinking about that, and I was just doing it recently, even on a 30-foot long leash with my girl who can't be off leash right now. It was the same thing. And I just got thinking, you know, when we give the dogs a choice, it gives them a voice. And that's really important. And I feel like a lot of our experts over this past year, because of some trainings that they've done and some new sort of directions that like training and just the whole idea of dog professionals and the dog, you know, being partners with us has evolved. And I think a lot of it has gone more towards, let's give them sort of more agency. Let's give them more choice and more voice. And then it just popped up. I was like, hey, it rhymes too. So why not do that? Right.
I love it. It's perfect. And I know we're going to be kicking things off first on October 8th in the
Yes.
Zoom room. And this is an interesting pop-up talk because it's not only for the human, but it's also
Right.
for the canine. So
Right.
talk to us a little bit about what we're going to do in this hands-on pop-up
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah. So the entire month, first of all, let everybody know, check in daily to the Facebook page, right? Because every day starting tomorrow, not on the weekends necessarily, because I know we all want to do other stuff, but every day there will be posts that I'm going to be putting in there, and it's going to tie into the pop-up talk, and then it's going to tie into the official club adventure. So make sure you're checking in. But the talk itself is going to highlight all of the topics that I'm going to be covering throughout the month, and which will then be used when we do our official adventure. I'm going to start the weeks with posts on massage. So what we're going to do in the pop-up talk, we are encouraging you to have your dog with you. If you can't have your dog because they're going to make you crazy because they can't sit still, like mine, then you can have a stuffed animal or whatnot, or borrow a friend's dog who is calm and whatnot.
Or come without a dog if you
can come without a dog. Totally. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, you can definitely watch this. But so what we are encouraging you to bring the dog if you can and want to. And we're going to actually together, step by step, be working on some small things that you can do with your dog as far as massage, right? So it's not going to be a whole massage routine, but it's going to be like, let's just take pieces of their body and like, how can you use, 5 to 7 different parts of their body and massage them? And it doesn't even have to be like you set the time aside to do massage. Like it can just be that they're sitting next to you on the couch, and you're going to just massage their ears, or you're going to massage their legs, or whatever it might be. But it introduces everybody to this small little things that chances are you're going to discover you're doing these things anyway. So like we think, well, I'm not a massage therapist, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, yeah, you do, because you're human and you're compassionate, right? And so you're doing these things anyway. Sometimes your dog is making you do these things, pushing their head into your hand or whatever it might be. So we're going to talk about some 5 to 7 basic things that you can do for massage on your dog. And we'll give you we'll give you some stuff to follow along with so that you can remember what these are after the fact. And along with that, at the same time, because any of you have ever taken my massage class, which if you haven't, you certainly can. We'll be offering that. I'll be offering it in November, and I'll post that later. One of the things that I do in the massage class itself is that we talk about the snout to tail wellness assessment. So the snout to tail wellness assessment is a trademarked assessment through Pet Tech, which is the company that I train under for CPR and first aid for pets. But it is a systematic approach to actually petting your animal, but petting them with intention. That's how I call it. So it starts here with the snout, it goes to the tail. And what that's doing is if we're going to pet them every single day and we bring our intention into it, what that allows us to do is see where are they at in a normal, healthy state. What do they look like? What does their fur look like? What do their eyes look like? What do they smell like? Like, all of those kinds of things. It's a sensory experience for us as far as an evaluation goes. And because it's a hands-on type of thing, I figure if you're going to do massage anyway, let's make part of it a snout to tail assessment awareness, right? Because you're going to be having your hands on anyway. There's no reason why you can't then turn your mind into not only am I massaging, but I'm also assessing. And so it's going to give you the ability to know from the start what is normal for your dog or cat or any other animal. And then what is not normal, because if you do this 3 to 5 times a week, which is the recommendation, but the way I look at it is if you're going to pet your dog every single day, why not do it every day for a little bit, right? So if you are evaluating or assessing these things and you're aware of what's normal and then something is not normal, whatever that may be, and we'll discuss that, you're going to know it and you will have documented it. And it's something that you probably would have maybe taken a picture of or taken a video of. And this is now something that you can then share with your vet. So this is where we get in, in collaboration with our vets to say, hey, this is what I've been observing. This is what's normal. And this is what all of a sudden isn't. I have video proof. I have documented time proof, like all of those things that you can then bring to your vet. So it supports you in keeping your animals well, but it also helps your vet to have documented evidence of what's going on. And so therefore you guys are on the same page and they're not blindly trying to figure out, what is this? When did it present? Why did it present? How did it present? And all of those things. So it all feeds into wellness. And we're going to actively do that as well. So while we're massaging, we'll also talk about snout to tail, what you're looking for in various parts of the body, how you document it, and going forward from there.
Awesome. And I know you'll have some great handouts for people who join us there as well. Pop-up talks are free for Golden Dog members and are $15 for other members of our community. So you can sign up for these events. There is a ticker at the bottom of the screen, it says goldendognh.com. Click on adventures and you'll see all of this good stuff that we're talking about. And then I know we'll be rounding out the month with the Mindful Dog-Led Stroll. Again, learning a little bit more about Dog's Choice, Dog's Voice on October 26th. And I love this one because recently we have been able to form another relationship with a private landowner in Barrington, this time for 75 acres. So we've got access to this land in our portfolio. So this will be the first time we're using this property for this adventure. So I'm really excited about that because we don't have to worry about dogs off leash, approaching. People can spread out. We've got the whole thing to ourselves. So tell us a little bit about what people can expect on that adventure.
Yeah, so this one is so much fun for me because it's kind of like we go back to what I talked about with my dogs and just kind of giving them the option of like, it's their walk. So, I like to say like this one, and you call it a stroll, and I love that because a lot of times, like when we go to some of the places that you've chosen, there sort of is an end, and then we come back and go to the parking lot or whatever it might be. And that's great. But in this case, it is truly not about a destination because you may never get to whatever the end is of this place. I haven't even seen the secret place. So like we never get to the end of this place, right?
Sure.
It's not about the destination. It's about the discoveries. And it's about the discoveries that you are going to make with your dog through your dog, right? So yes, they will be on leash for safety reasons, for obvious reasons. But instead of us as the human expecting that we have to set a certain pace and that we have to follow the person in front of us and that we have to get to wherever Tracy said the end was, we're just going to let the dog do its thing. And I'll tell you, sometimes my walk with Issa, my dog, I literally am standing in one place for probably 15 minutes because she's on something, she's smelling something, she's digging something, she's fixated on something that she just wants to get to. And that's fine. It's not my walk, it's her walk. Now, sometimes it has to be a collective walk, right? If we're walking them before we go to work in the morning, we have to get them out for a certain time frame or until they potty or whatever. I get it. This isn't about that. This is like the dog is going to guide us as the humans in what it is that they want to do. And what will be interesting is some of you may actually find that the dog has no idea how to do that. Like literally is going to wait for you to tell them, where are we going and what are we doing? And we're going to talk about that on that day. We're going to work with that. If your dog is just frozen, like, what do I do? Where do I go? We're going to show them something that's like, hey, let's bring your attention to this. What do you think? So it will be a little more, I don't want to scare people away, but it will be a little bit more physically intensive for the human in the sense that it may mean if your dog is going to look at something, I'm going to encourage you to go look at it with them and maybe squat down. And like really look at it. What is it? What have you got there? Talk to them. Ask them what they're looking at. And see how it makes their body change. See how it makes their energy change. Eyes will get wider. Ears will perk up. I used to do with my own Jack Russell, who I still have a Jack Russell, but Tucker was my previous. We used to do squirrel hunt is what I called it. So I'd let him out in the yard and he would go running to the trees where he knows the squirrels were. And I would go with him and we'd look at the bottom of the tree and then we'd look up and we'd jump around and see like, is there anything? Is there a squirrel here? Have they been here? So it's engaging with them like on their level and meeting them where they're at. What are they interested in? What do they want to smell? And it's going to be using your senses. I've been sort of practicing this, like, what is this going to feel like for somebody? Because I do it all the time and I don't think about it. But like if I'm going to help somebody to figure out what this feels like and what this looks like, Issa was walking through, she's on leash, remember, we were walking through our backwoods last night and she just stopped dead and just kind of looked at something, I don't know. But instead of me being like, come on, let's go, I stopped, I got quiet, we looked. What's there? What did she hear? Because you know what? I might miss something really cool. She zoned in on it, but I just was like, we're walking, let's go. So it's going to be for all of us. Like it's going to be letting them choose where they go and what they do safely. We'll talk about how that, we make sure that they're not going to get themselves into something that's not appropriate, and how you would redirect if that happens. But it's also going to be about opening our eyes, to their world, and seeing a walk for so much more than just like getting calories burned. Right? Like this is going to be about filling our soul. This is going to be about expanding our sort of universe and our awareness of our universe, and our emotional wellness. And so there goes the wellness, right? So that's how that comes into it. And we're going to do it through our dog, because our dog is going to guide us through this whole process. So it could be, you're doing a lot of squatting down. It could be, I joke sometimes I have a 30-foot line and I have a Jack Russell. So like, they're like the size of a grasshopper. So there are times when I am like untangling this leash from brush or whatever that she's gotten herself all tangled up in. So there's that as well. But I think people will find it interesting how the walk changes for them, and how their connection with their dog changes when they actually allow the dog to make those choices and they engage in those choices. And like the dog is all of a sudden like, oh my God, they want to do what I want to do. Like tails will be wagging, ears will be perked up, like all of those things. And I want people to experience that, because I think sometimes we've heard people say you've got to give the dogs a choice. I don't think people necessarily always know how to do that.
Right.
So we're going to show them how, and we're going to give them that freedom, and we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what the dogs let us do.
Yeah, and I love the place that we're going, because it's not a trail that anybody will be familiar with. So basically, we're going to dump you in the middle of this 75 acres, and you're not going to necessarily know how to get out unless you backtrack. Right. So, right. And so there won't necessarily be all the human smells and the dog smells that the dogs are used to. There'll be a lot of wildlife smells. But you're right. It's really going to be, what does my dog want to do? Where am I? This isn't a structured walk. We came in. It doesn't really end, so it's going to be unusual for probably both the canines and the humans. So I'm really excited that we're doing this as kind of a new type of event to see how people respond to it, and if the dogs really like it. So I'm excited about that.
New to you, and it's like new to just everybody walking through it, because that's when you find stuff. Like it's untouched, it's unexplored. So people haven't pushed things away or thrown stuff off the trail per se. There's really not per se a trail, but like that's when we're going to make those, or the dogs are going to make those really cool discoveries, because it's untouched and they're going to find it, and we're all going to see it for the first time.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's going to be amazing. And then we are going to round out October like we always do with our Ask the Expert session, which is for Golden Dog Club members only, where you get a last opportunity to join us in the Zoom room, and you have April all to yourself. You get to ask questions from what we've learned for the month and get clarification. Ask canine fitness questions if you have it, massage questions, pet first aid, CPR questions. It's an opportunity to just have, a small intimate setting in the Zoom room with our experts, and ask any additional questions that you have. So that'll round out our month, and that'll be jam-packed, obviously, with what you'll be doing supplementary in the Facebook community with the education for this month. And so if you want to learn more about April as well and her company, Healthy Pets NH, you could go directly to her website, and you can find out what events she has coming up too, and just learn more about her. But I guarantee you will learn lots of great things this month as well. So thank you, April, for coming on live with me. Any last parting words before we say goodbye?
One more thing to say to everybody. I am going to be posting regularly in the dog community, the Golden Dog community group, right? So here's what I want you guys to do. And I will reward you for it, because I know how much we like to be rewarded. It started even today. Like you don't have to wait for the pop-up talk. You know what the themes are. We're talking about massage. We're talking about snout to tail. We're talking about dog's choice and just bonding and connecting, and wellness in general. So I am actually going to have a bit of a contest. And what I want is for people to engage with the posts every single day, or as much as you can, and whichever one's kind of called to you. And you don't have to do what's in the post, but you have to, what I'm encouraging people to do is I want pictures or videos posted of you doing some form of massage on your dog. I want pictures and or videos posted of you doing snout to tail wellness assessment, which you won't obviously necessarily be able to do until after next week if you've never seen any of this stuff before. If any of you are actually doing like canine fitness kind of stuff, you can absolutely post pictures and videos. And then in particular, leading up to October 26th, pictures and videos of you on your walk where you've actually let go of the reins per se and let your dog decide, and show me what they've chosen, like what they've chosen. And maybe if you want to put in the comment, like a comment about how it made you feel, or how you saw them different and behave differently on their walk. And what we're going to do at the very end of the month, and it probably can be, so the 26th, when you say the 20, when are we doing the last, 29th is the
Ask the Expert. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll wait until after then. I have 2 categories. We have massage and snout to tail, and then we have sort of dog's choice, dog's voice, connecting with your dog, doing things that the dog chooses. We're going to have 3 winners from each of those categories. It'll be randomly selected, but it'll be based on how many times you've posted something, how many times you've engaged. So we're going to have that little spinny wheel thing that you use. Names will be put into the little spinny wheel. And if you've posted, your name is going to go in there. And I have prizes for you guys, right? I have prizes related to sort of the massage and snout to tail, and I have prizes related to connecting with your dog, doing fun things with your dog, stuff you never would have thought of, a little bit of guide on that. So awesome. I want to see these posts and pictures.
Prizes.
And we'll draw the winners at the end of the month.
So do you want to assign a hashtag to that so you can easily track them?
Oh my God. What should we call it?
Canine Wellness?
Sure, why not?
All right, so hashtag canine wellness on any post you do related to what April just talked about, so that you can easily be entered into that drawing. And we'll post that in the community too, so that you know everything that will be going on.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, jam-packed month. Looking forward to it.
Excited.
Thank you for taking time out of your day with me today to come to everybody live and share this information. And I look forward to your posts in the community and seeing everybody at our events in October.
Yes.
So thanks for joining us today, and have a great one.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.